Welcome to another GageBert Fitness video. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to perform a perfect plank. But today is also a bit of a 2-for-1 special because after we walk through the plank, I've got the perfect complementary exercise that I want to show you that you probably should be doing every single day. That being said, let's get into it. Now, the plank is a phenomenal core exercise when it's done properly, and we're going to walk through exactly how to perform the perfect plank today. Now, the plank works the rectus abdominis specifically, but on a secondary basis also works the shoulders, the pectoral muscles, and the obliques. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and break it down from the top down, starting with the head. Now, with your head, you want to make sure that it's not sagging towards the floor while you're doing the plank, for 2 reasons. 1, it looks bad, and 2, you want to keep your head and neck in a straight line with the rest of your body. Now, one helpful thing that you can do to prevent that head sag is to pick a spot on the floor about 6 inches in front of your hands and look at that. This will prevent your head from sagging too much. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the chest area. Now, you want to make sure that your chest isn't sagging towards the floor while you're doing a plank. And basically, you're going to use your pectoral and your shoulder muscles to get your chest elevated. Now, this isn't very hard to do, but it's just something you got to remember. Okay, next up we're going to talk about the elbows. Now, you want your elbows to be shoulder width apart when you're performing the plank, and you also want your upper arms to be perpendicular to the floor, so not too far back and not too far forward. Now, to make sure that you're in about the right spot, what you can do is you can put your hands together while in the plank position, and you stick your thumbs up, and if they're pointing towards the tip of your nose, then you're in just about the right spot. Okay, moving on down. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the hips. Now, the hips are the most important aspect of a good plank, and they're also the easiest to mess up. They will make or break your plank. So first thing you want to make sure of is that they aren't sinking too much towards the floor. Now, if they are, you're putting unnecessary strain on your lower back and your spine. So instead, what you need to do is cinch up that core a little bit, elevate those hips, and you should feel your pelvis roll forward just a little bit. That's a good thing, because that means you're taking the load from your lower back and your spine, which can eventually do damage to you, and putting the strain on your core exactly where it's supposed to be. Okay, on the flip side of that, you also want to make sure you're not piking your hips. Not that it's necessarily bad for you the same way that sinking them too low is, but you're basically taking a load off, and you're not challenging those core muscles enough. So go ahead, bring them back down, and get that body in a nice straight line. Okay, last couple of tips I've got for you guys on the plank. So, working our way down the lower body, you want to engage your glutes while you're performing the plank, because this is going to provide some extra rigidity and stability while you're doing the exercise. After that, you want to make sure that your legs are straight and that you're digging your toes into the floor. Okay, do you guys remember the complementary exercise that I mentioned at the beginning of the video? Well, here it is. This reverse plank variant is the perfect complement to the plank because it's working all the opposing muscle groups. Now, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do it in just a moment, but let me first talk about why it's so important. So, for most of us, we sit for a majority of our awake hours. Think about it. If you work at a desk, that's 8 hours of your day sitting. And then if you're in the car, commuting to and from work, running errands, taking the kids to practice, going to the gym, that's easily another 1 to 2 hours. So we're up to 9 or 10 hours out of your awake 16, and we haven't even accounted for Netflix yet. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, yeah, so what? I sit a majority of my day, I kind of have to. Granted. But let me break down exactly what happens when you are sitting more than you are standing during your awake hours. So when you sit, what happens is your glute muscles actually lengthen and your hip flexors shorten. Now, those two in conjunction with each other basically destabilize the hip area. And a very common side effect is lower back pain. So if you sit a lot and you have lower back pain or you want to prevent getting lower back pain, implement this exercise every single day just for 3 minutes, and I'm telling you, it's going to make a difference. Okay, so let's go ahead and break down how to do this thing. So you're going to be laying on your back, and your head, your shoulders, the back of your hands, and your heels are going to be the only things touching the floor. Everything else is elevated. So with your shoulders, be sure to pinch your shoulder blades together. You're kind of pressing your chest up towards the ceiling. It's the opposite note of what we did with the plank, where we're using our pecs and shoulders to kind of contract things to keep our chest elevated off the floor. Well, this way, we are elevating our chest towards the ceiling by pulling our shoulders back. Now, your hands, you want to make sure those are pointed up towards the ceiling, because that's going to help you open your chest. Now, lower back. You want to arch it. Make sure you engage your lower back here. If you don't, you're going to sag a little bit, and you're not going to get everything out of the exercise that you need. After that, focus on your hips. So you're going to engage your glutes pretty hard here. You're going to press your hips up towards the ceiling as high as you can. And again, if you're not engaging your glutes, you're going to notice a difference in the form. and you're not going to get what you need out of the exercise. So it's really important that both your lower back and your glutes are engaged here. After that, just make sure your heels are anchored into the floor and you've got your reverse plank variant. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button at the bottom. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to Gage Burt Fitness so you don't miss any new content. Thanks, and see you next time.